This is not Monday. Wednesday, October 23rd, year of our Lord 2019. Happy birthday to my baby boy Chase. And now I'm old.
Every day we just
Because both of my sons are now officially legally adults.
I remember when my birthday was in my shoe. I just found it.
Okay, we gotta get moving. Page 148. Page 148, you did 9 through 24, I believe. All right, here we go. Starting with number 9. Wait, we already do that?
Yeah.
Did we match those together? So you only had to do third. We didn't match those yet?
No.
We did 9 through 18.
24.
24.
No, we did 9 to 24.
Okay, here we go.
Forever.
Number 9. Which graph were you matching that up with? Can't. Quick. No. Not B.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
1/4 x is less than or equal to 8. To solve for x, you would have to multiply both sides by 4. So x is less than or equal to 32. You would match that up with D, as in David. Number 10, you should match that up with C. Number 11, you should have matched that up with A. And 12 should have matched up with B. So D, C, A, B. If you missed them, is this what you do as a mature, responsible student? Oh, I didn't get those, but oh well, let's go on to the next thing. No, because then what matters today is that you did your homework. What matters Friday is that you get it right. Wait, there's a test Friday?
What? I don't.
Number 13. X is greater than 4. If you missed it, mark it. Don't try to hide. X is greater than 4. Number 14. T is less than or equal to negative 21. Number 15. B is less than or equal to negative 360. Number 16. D is less than negative 99. Number 17, G is less than 6. Number 18, S is greater than or equal to negative 4. Number 19, C is greater than or equal to negative 6. Number 20, Z is less than negative 3. If you're going through these and you're missing these, and a lot of them are because of the negative sign, you got to conquer that. Number 21, R is greater than negative 56. Number 22, T is less than or equal to negative 6. 23, K is less than or equal to 3. And 24, A is greater than negative 378. Greater. Here's what I'll do. We can't do them all or we won't be able to move on. I know that, did anybody get them all right? I didn't think so. On that section, 13 through 24, did anybody miss less than 3? That's outstanding.
3 of us.
Uh-huh. Did anybody miss more than 6? Like, I was going through those, you're like, oh man. You don't have to be shy, did you? Was it mostly because of the negative sign? Oh, you weren't here. All right. I'm going to do number 14 first. Can't do them all. Thank you. Number 14. Negative 1/7 T is greater. That was a pretty good lighthouse, right?
Yeah, you did that.
Yes, it was very amazing.
And that's a pretty good tuba?
Did you? Yes.
No. It was David Evans' dad. It was Colin Evans. You guys remember the story of Gideon, right?
No.
Let it army of 5,000.
You just said no.
I think I was in.
Wow.
Yeah, you should.
All right, here we go. Number 14. Negative 1/7t greater than or equal to 3. Noah, pay attention. How am I getting rid of the negative 1/7? I'm dividing by negative 1/7. Anything divided by itself will give me t. So in order to get down to t, I had to divide by negative 1/7. Is that clear? Okay, now, what does that look like over here? If I divide by negative 1/7, that's the same as multiplying by 7 over 1. Negative 7 over 1, right? So 3 divided by negative 1/7, if you remember, when you're dividing fractions, you never actually divide, you multiply by the reciprocal, 7 over 1. So that becomes 3 times negative 7. And since this is the big part, since I divided by a negative, I have to switch this. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
When you add and subtract inequalities, it's the same rules as equations. When you divide or multiply inequalities, it's kind of the same. If you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, you've got to switch the sign. Please tell me that makes sense to you. Not just follow the rules, but it makes sense. Because when you divide by an opposite, the only way that this can stay true, remember what equations and inequalities are. They're really statements that are true. 2 plus 3 equals 5. That's just like a declarative sentence. And it has to be true, right? So in order for this to stay true, if I divide by the opposite, then I've got to make the sign the opposite. Make sense? Okay, and then I'll do number 19. Negative 9c less than or equal to 54. This one's 14. What did I just say? Negative 9c less than or equal to 54?
Yeah.
All right, how do I get rid of the negative 9, Jordan?
Yes, so.
Divide by negative 9. If I'm dividing by a negative, what do I do with the sign, Rachel? Since I'm dividing by an opposite, I switch it. That leaves me with c over here, greater than or equal to 54 divided by negative 9 is negative 6. What? I just wrote an equal sign. C is greater than or equal to negative 6. Yes.
Well, after this, we need 21.
All right. Now look, how do I know this is right? How do I check? Let's put negative 6 up here. What's negative 9 times negative 6? Positive 54. Is 54 less than or equal to 54?
Yeah.
All right? Give me something greater than negative 6. Negative 5. Okay? What if I put a negative 5 up here? What's negative 9 times negative 5?
Regular.
Positive 45. Is 45 less than or equal to 54? Everything greater than or equal to negative 6 is going to fit this solution. It's going to solve the inequality. And last one, before we move on to today's stuff, number 21. 7 is greater than negative 1/8 r. How do I get rid of the negative 1/8, Jaden? Over here, just keep it simple. Anything divided by itself is 1. So divide by anything to get rid of the negative 1/8, divided by negative 1/8. You get that? Because anything divided by itself is going to give you 1. You with me?
Yeah.
So what's that gonna leave me on the right?
R.
Just R. So far I got R is less than something. So far. But watch, Jaden. If I say I gotta do the same thing to both sides, 7/1 divided by -1/8 is actually 7/1 times -8/1. And since I'm doing my division by a negative, this guy has to change. And it becomes -56. Because I am dividing by a negative. When I divide fractions, I never actually divide. I multiply by the reciprocal. I invert it. I flip it. Since I divided or multiplied by a negative, by an opposite, I gotta change them. What's -1/8 times -56? +7. So R has to be R is greater than -56. Yeah. So if I put -56 up there, I'm going to get +7. R has to be greater than -56. It doesn't say equal to, right? R has to be greater than -56. So give me a number greater than -56.
1,055,000.
Yeah, 1 million. But let's use something that would be easy to convert in this problem. Let's say this was -48. Okay? -48 is greater than -56. So if this was -48, 1/8 times -48 would be +6. Is 7 greater than 6? Yes. All right. Your job right now, not homework, but right now, is page 151. It's just 8 problems. We're going to go over them in 8 minutes. It's a review of what you should know in chapter 3. Okay, the lazy one will, I don't have to write the formula. The easiest way and the quickest way to knock this out and know that you're doing it right is to, when I look at number 1, the rectangle has a perimeter of 30 millimeters, a width of 6 millimeters. What's its length? What am I going to do? I know the formula for perimeter of a rectangle. It's 2L plus 2W. What did they tell me? Here's the information they gave me. That the total perimeter is 30. What else did they tell me? That the width is 6. They don't tell me the L, but they tell me the width. 30 then equals 2L plus 12. How do I get rid of the 12? Subtract 12 from both sides. 18 equals 2L. How do I get rid of the 2? Divide by 2. L equals 9. The length of that rectangle is 9. Using my same strategy over and over and over again, solving, except I got to do a 2-step solution because first I had to subtract and then I had to divide. Does 9 work? What's 2 times 6? 12. What's 2 times 9? 18. What's 18 plus 12? 30. I did it right. I mean, I know. See, here's the problem. That seems like a lot to do, but if I wasn't talking and I was just doing it, that would have took me less than a minute. Might have taken me less than a minute with the talking and explaining. Number 2. What's the area of a triangle? Write the formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. And then you just plug in the stuff they give you. They told you the area is 26, okay? Then they tell you it has a height of 4, okay? 1/2 times b times 4. What's half of 4? 26 equals 2b. You see what I did from here to here? Remember, it's multiplication. It doesn't matter what order I do it. I could do half of b times 4, or hey, you know what's easier? Half of 4 times b, 2b, or that question. But it is 2b. How do I get rid of the 2? Divide. B equals 13. Is it true? What's 13 times 4? 52. What's half of that? 26. Or, what's half of 4? 2. What's 13 times 2? 26. 13 is the correct solution. Write the formula. Don't be lazy. Once you write the formula, why do they call them formulas? They actually make life easier. You just plug in the numbers. Why, when your baby brother or sister was growing up and before they ate big food, some of them, your parents went to the store and bought formula. Why is it called formula? Because it's the same every time. They go buy it, it's already pre-mixed, it's already got all the ingredients, the healthy stuff that the baby needs to grow. It's the same every time. Formulas, it's the same every time.
There's multiple
There's different
formulas.
flavors. It's actually not.
Thankfully, your taste buds maybe haven't fully developed when you're an infant, so
Yeah.
you don't really mind the taste yet.
I mind the taste.
You
You
don't
have a
eat
little
baby-
brother or sister.
You still eat baby
What?
food?
Hopefully you weren't stealing their formula out of the bottle.
It's very good.
No, it isn't.
It's disgusting.
In my opinion, I'll
It
eat that
smells-
straight from a bottle.
Okay.
And I'm
Here we go, number 3. How do I get rid of the 9? I subtract 9 from both sides. A is greater than or equal to -10.
Oh, that's how it works.
-1 plus -9, both negative, -10. Hold up. One problem you might have, once you go back to adding and subtracting, you might think, oh, I'm subtracting 9, so I have to flip it. No! You don't change the sign unless you're multiplying or dividing by negative. Number 4. How do I get rid of the -12? I add 12 to both sides. What's -16 plus 12? Signs are different. Find the difference between 16 and 12 is 4. Which one's greater? The 16. So it's -4. You're not even doing it, Zacchaeus. No excuses, no explanations, Zacchaeus. Let's go. We only got like 2 minutes to finish this page. Not homework. Number 7. If the empty basket weighs 2 pounds, Lauren, you're done already? If the empty basket weighs 2 pounds and you fill it with apples, and now it weighs more than 13 pounds, I can write and solve an inequality that represents this situation because it starts out at 2. I add the weight of the apples, A, and it's going to be greater than 13. This is number 7. Start off, the basket itself weighs 2. I add the apples, and now it says it weighs more than 13 pounds. That's all you have to do. Translating the paragraph in number 7 into algebra. Started off weighing 2 pounds. I added apples. Now it weighs more than 13. That's all that was. Micah, you can do that. Read that couple sentences, number 7. The basket weighed how much to start with?
2 pounds.
Did you add apples?
Yeah.
So we'll let A be the apples. How much does the basket weigh now? More than 13. 2 pounds plus the apples is going to be greater than 13 pounds. Now I solve it by subtracting 2 from both sides. A is greater. The apples must weigh more than 11 pounds. Number 8. This book is, again, 14 years old. In your lifetime, you would have no idea what they're talking about here. Okay? Before cell phones became almost like, now, they're almost a necessity for life, right? 14 years ago, most people might have had a cell phone, but how they paid for their cell phones wasn't like today. Today's standard is, unless you have a, what's that called from Walmart? Track phone or,
My parents use track phone.
yeah. So if you have a track phone, you still you go by the minutes as you use them. Most people have a plan that says, okay, here's your phone, you get like unlimited minutes and all that. You might wonder, well, why wouldn't you have unlimited minutes? Because when they first came out, the phone companies would sell how much you could talk and how much you could text and how much data you could download from the internet by the minute or by the megabyte or whatever. So they do if you have a track phone.
I have one, but they charge you by gigabytes of data.
Well, whatever. Okay.
You have unlimited calls all the time on any plan.
And even, what's Walmart's called?
Family mobile.
No, Walmart's.
Yeah.
That one's track phone.
I forget what it's called. Anyway, now, so back then you would have to buy like a card at the store. So if your calling card, you have $9.50 to recharge your phone. How many minutes, you have to write an inequality to show how many minutes you can add to your phone card if each minute costs 10 cents. How would I represent 10 cents per minute? What would be a good letter to represent minutes? M. What would be a way I could write 10 cents?
10 times
Point 10 or just point.
1.
Isn't point 10 10 cents? Isn't point 10 the same as point 1? So it's going to cost me 10 cents per minute, and I only have how much money on my card? $9.50. So I have to keep this less than or equal to $9.50. Read the paragraph again. I've got $9.50 total to use. It's going to cost me 10 cents for each minute. I have to keep that less than or equal to how much I have to spend. So I have to divide both sides by 0.1. M, and by the way, it's positive, so I'm not going to switch this, less than or equal to $9.50 divided by 0.1. What would that look like? Whoop, whoop. 1 goes into 95 times. The answer would be, you've got 95 minutes. Okay, so this is what it used to be like. And I was one that did this a lot. So I would have my phone, it was a flip phone, because there was a lot of flip phones. How many grandpas have a flip phone right now? My dad used to have, my father-in-law insisted on it had to be a flip phone. He just got, okay, so it was a flip phone, and you only had so many minutes, okay? So here's what I would do. Mrs. Franken calls me. Hello, okay, tell me what do you got to tell me? So here's me. I'm looking at the seconds,
Why is it called a flip?
because you flip it open.
Mike actually has to know.
Okay,
Oh
so
my God.
here's me. She'd be talking, and get to 50 seconds, 52 seconds. Okay, because once it went past 1 minute, guess what? They would charge you for the next minute. So I only had so many minutes. I didn't want to have to buy another card or minutes. So 58, 59, okay, and I'd hang up. Because I couldn't, that's the way you kind of had to do it back then to save money. Thankfully now, then they made most plans affordable for cheap people even like me.
Every second they charge you 50 cents.
Especially little commercial. If you have Cricket, which by the way uses AT&T lines, 4 phones, everything unlimited, only $100.
Wait a minute.
All 4 phones, everything unlimited. That's what my phone was. Yep. I got me, Mrs., Chase, and my dad. All unlimited.
If you
That's it.
Chase, just like.
See, before, they would give you a certain amount of data, right? Well, Chase would use all the data, and I wouldn't get any internet. So now it's unlimited. And
Sprint has a killer.
all right, here's your homework.
Chase came up to me and just started talking to me. I didn't even know he knew me. Having like someone randomized words I've never seen. Hey,
Here's your homework. It's chapter review time, first half, page 152, 1 through 24, go. Tomorrow we go over this page, and we do the next page. Friday we come in, and Preston is ready. He might not feel ready now on Wednesday, but 7 hours from now he will. Yes.
I hate that homework assignment.
Page 152.
Oh my God.
That's it. That's it. You got all this time to keep working. How many have study hall later today?
Right next to I am sleeping now. No, I don't.
We have 2.
You're with Mrs.
So you always just have fun.
Yeah.
Did you just say you have that? So you're supposed to, I want to see like all the run things. I want to see what Bradley did in the past. For
Can
some reason,
Chase
I
do
feel
a
like Bradley
backflip?
did something wrong.
Can Chase do it back?
Yes.
Wait, is it 1 through 24?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did you see last week's game when we're number 6 jumped over Rickett?
Jason, yeah.
Yeah. He got the ball a lot that game.